Alright, I'm back from the Chronos Protocol tournament held yesterday, and wow, it was a fantastic experience. As I said, it's my first Netrunner tournament ever, and it's the first time actually playing with so many other players in real life. Most of my games were on Octagon. I practiced very hard so that I could hopefully place highly and get some cool prizes. But I think more importantly, I got a chance to meet all these great players who are all very kind, very nice people, and very gracious. These are a very fantastic group of people, and it really reinforces in my mind that tabletop gamers, and in this case Netrunner players, are a very good bunch of people. And another good thing about going to the Chronos Protocol tournament is, of course, the right to vote on the ID that might come out in the future. It's a no-brainer, literally a no-brainer, and I saw many people casting their votes for Jiteki as well, so I'm quite confident that Jiteki will be the one that gets the Chronos Protocol in the end, which is a good thing. Less variance, more skill, more awesomeness for Netrunner in the future. Alright, so let's get on to the tournament report. The format was 5 Swiss rounds. There were no playoffs. Whoever did best in the Swiss rounds would win the tournament. The prizes up for grabs were 3 sling bags for the top 3 players, 8 playmats for the top 8, and everyone gets a Making News, an NBA Making News ID card, which is the art of which is absolutely fantastic. I do regret that the Americans will not get to get this Making News card because it really looks very good, and most ironically, it depicts America in the card art itself. But oh well. Count my blessings. I'm in this tournament, and here's how I performed. I went 7-3, 7 wins, 3 losses, and all my losses were from my corp deck, my NBN The World Is Yours deck. I'm not sure if it's coincidence or not, but the 3 runners that defeated me were all criminals. All my wins for my corp came from Shapers, and I lost to every single criminal. So I guess criminal really is very dominant in this meta of account siphons and whatnot. And of course, my Gabe deck itself went undefeated throughout the tournament, which was really surprising and something that I'm very proud of. It's not easy to say that you have a very dominant deck that crushes any opponent, but apparently that was the case today. 7-3 in the end was actually enough for me to place in the top 8. There were 3 players who won 8 games or more, and there were 4 players who won 7 games, just like me. So I finished in 7th, and I got my goodies. Oh man, they look so sweet. I'm very happy to have a playmat. I never had one, and going for your first tournament and getting a playmat out of it, that is something huge. It means a lot to me. I consider myself very fortunate that I was even able to finish in the top 8 and have so many wins, because looking at my matchup, especially for my runner, I didn't have to face against the nasty, aggressive, flatline combo decks that are floating around in the meta nowadays, nor did I have to face up against a single HB deck, which tend to be full of very taxing ice that my Gabe doesn't handle very well. So yes, the matchup was very favorable for me, and moreover, I didn't have to face off against what would eventually be the top players, those that finished first and second place. So I'm very happy for the prizes, but let's get down to some of the games. I apologize because no one was recording any of the games, so I didn't bother to do so myself. So all I have are my recollections of what happened during the day. My first game was using my corp deck against a Gabriel deck. One of the strong points of my corp deck is that it trashes a lot of programs, and against criminals this is huge because criminals have no form of recursion infection, and they rarely splash for it anyway. So I tried to drag out the game, and towards the mid-late game, this was the board state. My HQ and archives, which you could sneak down through, were both protected by heavy program trashing ice. My Grim managed to snipe off one of his corroders, and my Archer managed to kill off 2 of his programs. I managed to take out a lot of his programs, and he was running Data Sucker with the fix and upbreakers, so my Power Shutdown took out a lot of his Data Suckers as well. So I was looking very good. Even though he had 6 agenda points, my servers were all very, very secure. But at the end, what he did was he played a fairy, he busted through HQ once, and scored a winning agenda from my hand. I was 2 agendas away from winning the game because I had a res SanSan, which he could never break through because he had no data suckers out. He couldn't kill the SanSan. I was about to score 2 more builds to win the game. But, well, good for him. Fairies are very powerful, and he definitely used his to great effect in his last desperate moments. I think through this tournament, another thing I realized about Netrunner is that there's a lot of variance. You can't really argue against that. I mean, it's part of the game. This is what you signed up for. Luck is quite a huge factor. And I think that's what draws me to this game. It's quite alluring to play a game where, every game is different. Even though you use the same deck, every game can change based on what you draw, based on how the enemies play. And, otherwise, I wouldn't be playing Netrunner, I'll be playing chess or something. But sometimes the luck does get a bit out of hand, and that was evidenced by my 2 games against 2 NBN opponents. Both of them mulliganed into a hand of 4 agendas, which was a huge, huge pity. NBNs tend to have lots of agendas, 11 to 13 agendas in a deck size of 44 or 49 cards. Drawing 4 agendas in your starting hand, even after a mulligan, I don't think even the best players can recover from that. There was one of my games was really exaggerated. What he did was, after his mandatory draw, he celebrity gifted me these 5 cards. 4 agendas, 7 points worth of agendas, enough to win the game, and a toll booth. Following which he installed a piece of ice on HQ, presumably, obviously, the toll booth. I looked in my runner hand, I was Gabe, and guess what I saw? Yes, my opening hand has Sneak Door Beta. Oh man, I felt so bad doing it, but it's the game. You have to do it. So I installed the beta and ran 3 times, and after that, there was no way he could recover from that. In the end, I managed to score the winning agenda on the second turn. I felt very bad because this was against one of the best opponents in the field, but as you see, luck can hold you anytime, and especially when you're playing as the corp because of the nature of agendas in this game. It's something that you have to be mentally prepared for, to lose via just bad draws. So, you can complain about it, but at the end of the day, this is the game you signed up for, so be prepared for it. And my last match, this was the last Swiss round of the day, and both me and my opponent were on 6 wins and 2 losses. We all figured that this would be a very crucial match in determining who gets a playmat and who doesn't. So this was a very tense game for both of us. Both of us were playing Criminal and NBN. It was also against a very skilled opponent, and both of us were playing program trashing based NBN decks. What my NBN deck did was, through Power Shutdowns and Grim, I managed to snipe off 2 of his data suckers and 1 corroder in quick succession. I thought I had the game wrapped by then. However, through his magic of Mystery and rather good luck with the card draw, he managed to get his 3rd data sucker and 2nd corroder out of his deck to run through my HQ, I believe, to pull out an agenda to win the game. The converse was true when I ran against him. Even though he res an archer, I saw the archer coming, but I predicted his position wrongly and ended up losing my Femme Fatale to it, which was very painful. But he kept my Sneak Door Beta alive. Oops, sorry. That is meant to be a picture of Common Drip, not Pheromones. I don't use Pheromones in my deck. He kept the Sneak Door Beta, and when I Sneak Door through his archives, I saw only a lone Wraparound guarding it. So, installing a corroder and about 5 Sneak Door runs later, I managed to score enough agendas to scrape out the win just as he was going to suffocate me. Being suffocated as Gabe is not nice, but, well, in the end of the day, we split the last match, and thanks to this split, both of us managed to get into the top 8, and both of us got our playmats. So, I think to conclude, if there's one thing I learned from this tournament, is that it's very important to give your deck a good shuffle before embarking on a match. I find that in between games, there's always about 10 to 20 minutes of lull time as the tournament organizer drafts up the next matchup for all the players. So within that time, as you're chatting to the other players, having friendly banter and idly chatting along, just pick up your deck of cards and slowly shuffle them such that you won't be agenda flooded, hopefully. in your next game. Because you, at the end of the day, you want to tell yourself, my deck performed well, I won against my opponents. Or you will tell yourself, my deck was horrible, I constructed it badly, or I just played it horribly, there were so many misplays. You don't want to go out of a tournament cursing Lady Luck for your misfortune, cursing just because you drew too many agendas or didn't draw the breaker that you needed to win the game. That really spoils your experience for you, so try to shuffle your deck, and most of all, whatever happens, just enjoy the experience, enjoy the game, and enjoy the company, because the people down there are good, and the store and the tournament organizers were both very friendly, and I'm very thankful that they hosted this Chronos Protocol tournament for me to take part in. It was a privilege playing with all these great players. And I hope that you have some fun at your own tournaments as well. Do join them, no matter what your skill level may be. I promise you, it will be an exciting experience. I know it has been for me. I hope it will be for you too. Thanks for watching. See you around.